Well, since this is all we're expecting, we'll go ahead and get started. Just wanted to say thank you again for joining us for the Business Success Seminar, the continuation, part 3 of our Coronavirus Business Boot Camp with Dr. Bradham's Success Academy. And with further ado, since we're such a small group, I'll just go ahead and turn it right over to you, Dr. Bradham, and we can get started.
Great. Thanks, Tammy, for joining us. And, you know, one of the things, this is our third that we've done. We've got 4 that we're scheduled to do. And, you know, this is a scary time for a lot of businesses. It just truly is. There's a lot of things out there that, you know, that we're dealing with right now. Coronavirus seems to be ramping back up a little bit. We are in a situation where, you know, we just had the election, whether that's good or whether that's bad. That creates some uncertainty as well. So there's a lot going on. And one of the things that I always say is that as a small business owner, I don't care if you run a skating rink or a jewelry store or your doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, whatever it is, you know, there are certain principles that we have to be able to follow. And if we don't, then we're going to struggle with any business. And I think now more than ever, it's important that we understand what those are. One of the things that as I do this today, and Tammy, I think you've been on some of these calls. Maybe you've done both of them, not sure. We're going to spend the first half of this doing a lot of review. And I think it's important that we do a lot of review because anybody that's successful in anything, whether it be sports, business, whatever, they follow some of the basic business principles. You go to any pro football game, you know, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if you're a football fan or not, but those are 2 big stars in football. And they've been doing this for a long, long time. And guess what they're doing? They're doing the same things before every ball game because those are fundamentals. So I think it bears repeating some of these fundamentals because if we're not doing these right, then we're going to struggle some. And then I want to spend the last part of this going over something entirely different that will be helpful in your business and how to do that. And then we'll take some time at the end for some questions. And then we'll talk about the business assessment that I'm offering for chamber members at no charge that is also extremely beneficial to your business. So I'm going to, for the first several minutes, I'm going to go through these fairly fast because we've already gone through most of this already. And if you did not, if you were not there for both of these, and Heather's going to have a copy of this so you can look at it on your own. I would encourage you to do that because we go into a lot more detail on this. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because nobody really cares who I am. This is about you. Only thing that I would say is that I've been able to be very successful in a very competitive business that has a fairly low utilization rate overall. And I've been very successful. And that led me to also become a business coach, marketing strategist that is able to go through and work with just about any business to make that business work better. Well, nobody cares about the awards. I am an author. I've written a book, and I am in the process of working on another book now. And that people in business do that don't own their own businesses. So, you know, I try to tell people and show people the way that they can make their businesses work. And the other thing, these last few points on here, coach and father, business, city council, the reason I put that on there is just to show that the techniques that I teach people about their businesses don't require you to be in your business 24/7. I show you techniques that allow you to work 3-4 days a week, whatever you want to work, and try to make sure that you work more effective and smarter, not necessarily more hours. So today's game plan, we're going to talk about some actionable strategies. I always say that in any kind of seminar, webinar, whatever that you do, what I like to do is I take a business card, turn it over, and if I can find 3 things that will help me in that presentation, then it's going to be worth your while. So, you know, you may find that maybe 85 or 90% is stuff that either you know you're not going to do or don't feel like you can use. But if you can find 3 things that you can implement in your strategy with your business, then it's going to be well worth it. tripling leads, double conversions, and growing revenue and profits exponentially. So I want to talk about, rating your current situation. This is where you've got to be honest with yourself. I mean, where am I at in my business now? If my business is not getting leads, if it's not getting conversions, if it's being, moved out by competition, if I can't seem to find a way to get through COVID restrictions and this and that, then you got to find out, what's your weak spots? Where are your pain points? What are the things that keep you up at night that make you lose sleep? So those are some of the things that you need to ask yourself as we go through this. And we're going to develop a roadmap that you can use this week to start improving your sales and marketing results. At the end of this, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do a profit acceleration software, some time together there for your business. We'll actually help you find between $10,000 and $100,000 in untapped potential in your business. And this is pretty exciting. Everyone that's done several of these already, and everybody's pretty blown away with it. But that's going to be a roadmap that will help you develop here at the end. So in 60 seconds, your name, what you do, what's working best in your business, what's your biggest challenge. You really need to be having a brainstorming session at least once or twice a week with you and all the other parties that are involved in your business. What is it that's working great for us? What's working not so great for us? For the things that aren't working great for us, do we need to kick this to the side, or do we need to maybe fine tune it? Can you explain to people what you do? That's very important. If somebody asks me what I do, I don't tell them I'm a chiropractor, because that tells me who I am, not what I do. What I do is I get sick people well naturally. And that begs the follow-up question, well, how do you do that? And so you're almost begging someone for you to give them information on your business. And there's no business, and some people call that an elevator pitch. That's another way of saying that. Doesn't matter what you call it, but you need to be able to explain what it is you do to people, not just tell them what you are: accountant, CPA, small business owner. And that's how it's very big as far as getting good leads in your business. So if you don't have an elevator pitch for your business, you'll need to find a way to develop one. I'll be happy to help you there. So, 10 questions to start. These are questions that you need to be able to answer. Number one is, how is your product different from your competitors? Think about the people that compete with you. And how is your business different? If you can't explain how it's different, then you've got some problems. What marketing materials do you have to promote your business? What marketing mediums do you use, and how much do you spend? Facebook, handouts, postcards. I mean, what kind of money are you putting on those? Because what I have found is that very often it's not about the medium as much as it is what you're putting on the advertising. So people will quickly blame, and I hear this all the time, well, the newspaper doesn't work. It's a waste of my money. And then I go back and I grade their ads, which I do for people a lot in advertisements, and come to find out it has nothing really to do with the newspaper. It has more to do with their ads. I went through the paper yesterday, I guess it was. It only comes out 2 or 3 days a week now, so I think it was yesterday. But anyhow, went through the paper and looked at some ads of 2 or 3 in particular that were just really quite bad. And I know from working with the paper what they're paying for those ads, and they're really throwing their money away. So again, it's not the newspaper's fault. It's their fault for not doing a good, effective ad. So, would you describe your market mediums as effective in reaching your target market? If not, how do you know? I mean, do you just aimlessly throw money at something, kind of like throwing spaghetti against the wall, hoping it's going to stick? Or do you chart and do you monitor your stats? Do you see, are you getting a full 4-to-1 return, which is generally what we like to do, or not? Or you just keep, spending more money? When I first started my business many years ago, the big thing at that time, and of course now it's died down quite a bit, but at that time, the big thing was the yellow pages. How much you spend on yellow pages. And that was sort of a thump in your chest moment. If you spent a bunch of money on yellow pages, that somehow made you better in business. Of course, now people hardly advertise there anymore. They've gone digital and whatnot. But I remember back in those days, the people would come in from the yellow pages, the sales reps, and even though, your ad was not working, they'd want you to spend more money. They said a bigger ad is the answer. It's got to be bigger. Well, it didn't need to be bigger. It could be smaller, but it just needed to be better. And they were not really a lot of help with that. So Is your ad, is it effective in reaching your core target market? Do you know what your target market is? If not, then you really do need some help. You got to know who you're trying to go after. Do you have a website? Most folks say yes, they have a website, but truly, most websites today are not anything other than a place for people to find out, where you're located, and they don't do a whole lot to attract new business. How many clients are in your database? What's your most profitable aspect of your business? What's your average sales value? What's your gross profit percentage? And how many inquiries do you get per day? And those things help you determine the impact you're going to have on your business. So therefore, if you don't know the answer to those questions, then you need to figure those out. 80-20 rule. 20% of what you do every day is generating 80% of your total annual revenue. So you're only doing a few things daily that makes most of your money. So one of the things that we've talked about over the last couple of sessions is these 5 areas are more leads, more conversions, more transactions, higher prices, and more profits. And again, I would encourage you, if you've not heard the other 2, to go through these in detail, which I do in the other 2, and kind of let you know how these things work. We're going to sort of go through these fairly fast today, but these are the 5 areas that you've got to work on. And small incremental changes produce big results. This is the profit growth calculator. And this is where we can go in and tell us how, if we add a little bit to this, how it makes a difference. So, we've got a baseline of 1,000 leads, baseline of 25% conversion rate, 10 transactions, prices, and the price is obviously different depending on your industry, but we'll just say $100. You have to figure out what it is for you per transaction. And, you get down to your gross profit is 25%. What is your profit margin? So if you charge X amount to get into whatever business you've got, if you have a service industry or some type of entertainment industry, what is the price to get in, and how much of that do you keep? In this particular example, it's got $62,000. So if we increase it 10%, if you look on the far right column, then you can see how just a 10% change can go a gross profit of 62 to 1,000. And 10% truly in any business is really child's play. Most people in business should be able to do much better than that. Those are very conservative numbers. If you get out here to 50%, you can see how that follows through with the 50% increase. And the exciting thing is you can see how you go from $62,000 up to $474,000 in this business. Again, your business may be way off from this, but let me ask you this. If you can increase your business a minimum of 10% or up to 50% or more, you can see how much freedom that gives you. Having that extra money in your business gives you the freedom to be able to do more marketing, to be able to serve more people, and to have less stress. And at the end of the day, be able to take more money home as well. So that's a 760% increase, by the way, if you increase your business 50%. And so this just sort of shows you how you can transform your business by taking some small steps. So we're going to go through some breakthrough strategies that we use in our business and other coaches in our business use as well. Here's a case study. We'll go through this pretty quick, but this is a back to school daycare type of thing. And you can take a look at that and look at that ad that they've done, which I'll tell you is a pretty bad ad, honestly. This was mailed out to every home within 5 miles, and they had 0 calls. And I got to tell you, if you're in small business, nothing will take the wind out of your sails like spending money and time to send out these advertisements for your business and to get 0 calls from it. That's pretty discouraging. And this is and so one of the questions you may ask yourself is, well, how do we know if it's going to work or not? Well, we use what's called the conversion equation evaluator. And it's simply a scale that I can use to show people whether or not their ads are any good or not. And it makes it very objective, and it just goes through and can take an ad and we can figure that out. So we'd be happy to help you with that if you're interested. More transactions. So how are we going to convince clients to buy more often? So, when you increase your transactions, you want to try to figure out a way to get them to want more of what you got. So upselling and cross-selling is the fastest and least expensive way to do this. We want to offer more products and service to your clients. Upsell, cross-sell we talked about was where basically we offer a higher grade or quality of size of the item to the customer than they may be interested at that point. We use the example of McDonald's. It was a great example where when you go in and order some type of meal, and by the time you're done, they've got you ordering a bigger meal. That's called upselling. Cross-selling means that basically you offer things to complement whatever they come in for. So we'll go back to McDonald's again, and we'll say that, we want to get a Big Mac value meal, and then they ask you, would you like a apple pie with that? That's what that means when we say cross-selling. And it's interesting to note that 34% of prospects will buy additional products if they're asked to do so. Keep that in mind. So, and you got to have, I think mindset is incredibly important here, because you don't want to feel like that somehow this is unethical or somehow you're trying to get people to buy something they don't need. If you believe in your product that you're selling, then I hope that you believe that whatever you have would be of value to someone that you're working with. As an example, if someone comes into my office, there may be a particular type of vitamin or supplement that they need, and I know that that supplement is going to help them. I also know that if I do it, that I'm going to be able to counsel that person on that supplement. And how much more valuable is that than them going to, Walmart or the drugstore and just picking one off the shelf? So you got to believe in your products and services. And if you do, this should not be a problem for you. Here's an example of that, this cross-selling, upselling. Here's an automotive place. It's got free full service oil changes, gives you the value of it. So certainly this would get somebody's attention. And they're offering a free service, and this creates the opportunity for additional upsells and cross-sells. So, and it also allows them, if they're confident in their services, to be able to get people in front of them. Because the truth is, you may have the best business in the world, but if you're not able to get people in front of you, then you're going to struggle some. So that's why it's so important that you at least have an opportunity with these people. And an example here would be a dentist. A dentist would offer services like exams and teeth cleaning. But, the vast majority of the revenue is going to come from cosmetic services, root canals, crowns, fillings, and so forth. So what might convince someone to leave their dentist? We said that 85% of the population has medical insurance, but only 50% have dental insurance. So among those without dental insurance, 44% said it was the main reason they didn't visit the dentist. So if you're a dentist, you should see an opportunity here. And whatever business you're in, doesn't matter. You need to be thinking out of the box and ask yourself, what can I do to upsell and cross-sell in my business? So in this particular case, the dentist targeted families without dental insurance and offered them the same services without having to pay the monthly premiums. So here's an example of those ads that they use. No dental insurance, no problem. So if I'm someone who is cost conscious and on a budget and I need dental care, this is going to get my attention. And of course, everybody doesn't think like that. Some people don't care about the cost. They simply want to go to the best. But there are some people that would like to have dental care that maybe can't afford it. So this is a great ad that we do that gets somebody's attention. And you need to be thinking about how you'd work that in your business. So essentially, he's offering a routine exam and cleaning at a normal copay, as if they had regular insurance, and then all the other services, fillings, crowns, etc., they're able to charge regular price for. So the secret to more transactions is you want to implement an upsell and cross-sell strategy. Again, I'd recommend you go back and watch the previous ones if you haven't, where we go into a little more detail about that. You want to rank this. Well, how is this relevant to your business? Do you see an opportunity to upsell and cross-sell in your business? And as I mentioned, every business should have this. So hopefully the wheels are turning here, and you're trying to think about some ways that you can do this in your business. Higher prices. We also talked about higher prices last time, and we said the key to that was increasing the value. Bundling is a way that we can do that in terms of packages, which are then sold to your clients or your customers. When you do this, you eliminate price competition. So here's an example that we gave of a sunroom company that offered a substantial discount as their primary offer. Here's an example of a really, really bad ad. It says $2,000 off. It says, come visit our showroom. You know, we are so conditioned to see ads like this that this really has no bite whatsoever. Now, take a look at this. This is much more compelling, and this actually generated a lot more profit for this business. So this is where they offer a free $6,200 bonus package. It includes a sunroom with sofa, love seat, chair, ottoman, end tables, coffee table. So this is what's called bundling. This is a lot more intriguing to a potential buyer than just giving up $2,000 off of something that may cost $30,000 or $40,000. And the way they did that was very simple. They made a deal with the furniture company to purchase a set of furnishings, and in exchange they received their wholesale price of $1,600 per set. So I would ask you the question, if you're in the market for a sunroom, which one of these is going to be something that's going to give you more excitement? The one on the left or one on the right? Pretty easy comparison, is it not? So the question is, how can you bundle in your particular business? If you have an idea, send me an email and we can discuss it. So the secret to higher prices is you need to implement a bundling strategy. So again, I want you to rate the relevance of that to what you're doing and whether or not you feel like that could be applicable, and I suspect it can. How are you going to make more profits in your business? So there are two major ways to do this. You have to increase your revenue or decrease your cost. Option one is to increase revenue by raising your prices, and option two is to decrease your cost of doing business by cutting your labor cost. The easiest way to increase your profitability is to simply raise your prices. So most small businesses have not raised their prices since never. So most people rarely do this. If you have raised your prices in your business, great. If not, you should think about doing it. Because most people are scared to death that any price increase is going to lead to a mass exit of customers. But they really don't. And I'm going to go through these slides pretty quick because they get a little heady here. We did talk about it last time, but we're just trying to basically point the fact out that raising your prices by a small amount is not going to lead to a loss of customers. Very few customers will leave, and honestly, if they do, they're going to be your biggest price shoppers that really show no loyalty or patronage to your business whatsoever. And to what extent will they actually leave? Not as many as you think. So I'm going to go ahead and flip through these because I want to start getting to some new stuff here. So the secret to higher prices is basically to raise them. And if you have any, and I've found that most people that have issues with raising prices, the problem really is more between the ears and not based on any facts of people just sort of walking away from what they're doing. So again, you want to rate this relevance to your business and ask yourself the question, in my business, have I raised my prices anytime recently? If not, why not? Is there a reason why I haven't raised prices? Is it because I'm afraid that people are going to leave if I do? And those are some things that you'll need to work through. Stop discounting. So the key to increase profitability is offer more value than your competition. So if you figured out that your biggest competitive threat is a business that maybe is across town or maybe in Holly Springs or Fuquay or maybe even not exactly the same type of business, but a business that sort of would tend to take people away from your business, are you able to offer more value than them? And if not, that's a problem. Remember, prospects are going to pay twice as much if they believe they're receiving 4 times more value. And we gave the example last week of this being very much like, Starbucks. Starbucks coffee, you'll get college kids that don't have 2 dimes to rub together, but they'll pay $8 for a cup of coffee, which is insane. But they'll do that because they're receiving more value in their mind. So you need to ask yourself about that in your business as well. So again, we're going to pass through the widgets talk here. This is just showing you the math of how this works. And we won't do that again. I do want to mention that this is talking about the discounts that most people get are like 10%, 15%, which really are pretty non-helpful because most people, unless you get to that 20 to 40% rate, To be honest with you, you're not really exciting anybody. So the secret to generating more profits is to stop discounting, okay? You want to rate this to your business, am I discounting too much? So we won't talk about franchising. That's only applicable to a few small businesses, but it can be very powerful if you're one of them. But we won't go there too much. We also talked about websites. And again, this is on our last presentation. But the thing to take out of this is we talked about websites versus landing pages. And the big difference is that a website essentially is a site that people go to that has all these different services. I do this, I do that, I do this. But a landing page is basically something, as you see in the bottom right of your screen, that gets somebody's attention and drives them to a particular area. So at the top, you've got the headline, and this is the area that the hot button issue that's going to get somebody's attention. And then below that, you have the subheadline or the education aspect that you'll put in there. And then there's always going to be some kind of offer at the bottom. That offer could be a free service, could be something that you allow them to do if they come so many times, whatever you work out in your particular business, but that's how that's going to be set up. We gave the example of very, very bad, this is information from one website, and you can see this has just got all this stuff jumbled up, 24-hour service, no hidden charges, flat rate. I mean, it's got all this information that, just a lot of jargon really, nothing very moving here. And the same example of this. This is another website. This has got a lot of things that talk about how great they are. Remember, your customers do not care about how great you are. They only care about themselves and what they can get. So don't get caught up in, we've been here for 100 years, or everybody says we're great. We win the best award every year. Those aren't really as important to people as you might think. So you want to make sure you count the number of times in any advertising you do that says I, we, our, or the name of your business, and count the times that you say you or your, because that's information that people don't care about, and it takes away from what you're trying to do. All right. So let's pick on this out a little bit. And again, what you should be doing as you look at this, you should be thinking to yourself, okay, does my ad look like this? And if it does, then you might know why you've got some problems. So it says a well-established service company. That doesn't impress anybody. They've been around since 1991, and of course we're being very cynical, but does that mean that a company that started in 1990 is going to be better than you? They have unsurpassed customer service. What does that mean exactly? It means nothing, and there's really nothing specific in this. So this is an example of a bad ad. So here's an example of a great ad. And so look at this, and this is just basically at the top. Think about someone whose furnace had gone out or heating and air, whatever. And the first thing you see is, you're cold, and you got kids at home, and you need something to come get this fixed for you. So the headline is "Furnace Out," and you're thinking to yourself, absolutely. Is your house freezing? Absolutely. Do you need someone to come there within an hour? Yeah. So that would get somebody's attention. Now, so below that it says 3 ways we guarantee your heat will be back on in 90 minutes. So now I'm very excited. Not only do I feel like you can help me, but you can help me quick. And then it's got a short little video about how you can get the heat on. And so this is a good ad. And again, think about your business and how you would use that in your particular business. So the real purpose of marketing, we said, was to grab the prospect's attention, facilitate the prospect's information gathering and decision-making process, and it needs to be specific, low risk, and easy to take action steps. So that's basically how that works. And we're going to move on to our new information. We talked a little bit last week about in social profiling for your business is extremely important. I don't care what line of business you're in. It's very important that you know how to do that. And not only in your business, but also in your personal life. It's just things are so much easier if you're able to do this. And we're going to give you some examples that will make this applicable to your business here in just a second. Now, there's all kinds of ways that you can look at this. There's all kinds of different programs you can take. There's one called DISC, D-I-S-C, DISC training that's very involved. And it's a good program, but it's probably unnecessary. It's just overkill. These are the things that I like to do. Everybody that you come in contact with in your business or in your life is going to be in one of these 4 categories: director, thinker, relator, or socializer. And when you get good at this, you should be able to put somebody in one of these groups very, very quickly. And once you do, you can decide how you want to address that particular person. Because this is a deal. If you don't address them correctly, it really is like me speaking English and someone else is speaking German. I mean, it's just, the communication is just not there. And then you scratch your head wondering why that person didn't want to buy the product that you had, or whatever it might be. As an example, if you own a skating rink and you're trying to sell some skates to someone, or you're trying to sell anything you offer to them, if you mess this up, you probably will not be successful. Or certainly if you do a better job of this, you can be a lot more successful. So let's go through some of these. And one of the things we actually showed last week was if you're in a business where paperwork is filled out in your business, and that may or may not be true, but this is a little helpful hint that we talked about last week that you can use with people if you need some extra early hint on what kind of person you're dealing with. But this is an example of a piece of paperwork from my office where someone fills out the information that they've got. And you see how when you look at that, it's filled out very well. At the bottom, they've got the asterisk at the very bottom. You can see they actually gave me information I didn't ask for. And the reason that's telling is because this tells me that this person that I'm dealing with is either going to be a relator or a socializer, okay? And then that lets me know how I need to be communicating. So let's say someone needs to fill out a contract or a form, and you get it back and it looks like this, then you know this is a style person you're dealing with, and it lets you know how to deal with them, all right? You can see stuff is written out to the right of the margin over here. Again, we're talking about relator, socializer with that. Now, let's take a look and let's talk about this one. So, you're in your business and something's got to be filled out. And let me give you an example of how this might work. If you're in a business where you have to fill out a consent form to say that, if you fall or get hurt, you're not going to get sued. And the mother and father fill this out, and they fill it out very poorly or not hardly at all, then that lets you know that you're dealing with a director, probably, type of person. And there's a very specific strategy for that. And you may say, well, why does it really matter? Well, it may matter because let's say you're selling a product such as skates or whatever it is, and this person that filled this out is in the process of trying to decide if they want to buy them or not. Once you know that you're dealing with the director, you know how you're going to have to deal with them, which we're going to talk about shortly. But look at this piece of paper. It's barely filled out. The very bottom, they didn't fill out the bottom several lines down there. How did your symptoms appear? I don't know. I mean, very, very poorly filled out. This person must be the healthiest person in the world. They've got nothing. They've got no problems, apparently. So when you see this, you know you're going to be dealing with the director. And look at this one. I mean, there's nothing filled out hardly at all with this. So these are just some helpful hints you can use when you're trying to figure out how to deal with people. So let's talk about some strategies here. Let's talk about a strategy for a relator. So relators are actually fun people to deal with in business or in life. You're able to talk very warmly and informally, focus on building trust. Now, these are the people that want to show you pictures of their grandkids, and they want to, just basically interact very warmly with you. You want to explore their work and relationship needs, ask tactful, open-ended questions that draw them out. So if in your business you have repeat customers, and these repeat customers, you want to continue to foster that relationship, this is where you really want to get out there and talk to these people, be very warm with them. Talk about harmony, safety, teamwork, ask about how they feel about your recommendations. You want to provide direction and assurance. So let me give you an example of this. If you are at, let's say you have a skating rink and you're trying to sell a pair of skates to someone, and this is someone you would not want to ask, you don't want to give them a bunch of choices. You don't want to say, would you like the pink ones, the blue ones, the white ones? Would you like 4 wheels, 2 wheels? Don't want to give them a lot of choices because they're going to look at you and say, well, what do you think about it all? They're looking to you for guidance. So with this particular type person, you're going to want to tell them what you think. You're going to say, Ms. Jones, based on, what you've told me so far, I recommend blank. And this is where you can mess this up, because if you're dealing with a relator and you start to go through a bunch of choices, then they're not going to know what to do. And so that will definitely get in the way of you completing that sale with them. So you want to make a recommendation. And then if you've done your job on the front end, they're going to trust you and they're going to go with that recommendation. How about a thinker? Thinkers are very bookish, very organizational type people. They don't particularly like a lot of social talk. They want you to appeal to the logical side. So you want to sort of explore their expertise, objective, concerns, questions. Be short and fact-oriented, okay? You don't want to emphasize accuracy, quality, reliability. Talk about disadvantages of certain things, and talk about documentation. So let's go back to the skates again. So you're trying to sell a pair of skates. The thinker is not going to go, you can't go in with the thinker and say, oh, well, you got to buy these. These are the best in the world. These are, when you get these, boys, you're really going to be happy with this. They don't like that. They want to know facts and figures. They want to know things like this. What's the safety record on this particular skate? How long does it last before I have to replace the wheels? What is the, what's the advantages and disadvantages of 2 wheels versus 4 wheels, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to have to be more intellectual with these people when they come in. So that's the thinker. The director, this is always a fun one. This is the biggest problem in any business. And I'll tell you why in just a second, why it's so important that, that you do this right, and why you would even want to deal with directors at all. So you want to focus on the task, be prepared and organized. You want to explore their desired results and time constraints. You want to emphasize results, efficiency, making money, and you want to present an analysis of their needs. And this is the key: provide options with immunity, with cost benefit summary, And you want to make very decisive decisions. So an example here would be this. If you have a director, you want to get right to it, okay? You don't want to give them a big sales job about why your skates are better than the other people. You simply want to say, what are you looking for? They're going to tell you, I want skates for my child. It's his birthday. So at this point, you're going to want to say, okay, we have this, this, and this. Which do you want? And you want to let them make that decision, because at the end of the day, a director has got to be in charge. If they're not in charge, they ain't going to buy from you. You got to let them think that they are the winner. And that's why you got to give them choices. Now, the thing about a director is this, why would you want someone like this? Because they can be difficult to deal with. The answer is this: directors, more than any group out there, are going to refer more people to your business. So this is a type person that if you can make them happy through these strategies, then they will bring more people to your business than anybody else. Trust me. They're the movers and the shakers. Probably without question, they're the most difficult to deal with, but they're also the ones that refer most. All right. Socializers. Now, socializers are the life of the party. They're a little bit like the relators, but you want to show enthusiasm, let them set the pace, explore their motivation and dreams, balance information gathering with personal stories, provide testimonies, incentives. So these are the people that come in. They're a little hard to deal with because they're very flighty quite often, but they're fun to be around, and you just have to make sure they're entertained. So if they get bored, you're going to lose them. So you want to make sure these people that, if you have a business where you have, multiple employees, you want to have the one that has the best personality. You want to put them out there in front of this one. You don't want to have your bookish employee who sits behind a desk. You want to have these people out there in front of them who can really help them be the life of the party. Because again, if you don't entertain them, then they're gone. So those are strategies, 4 strategies that you can use with these individual people. This is very powerful. So it might be worth your while to go back and look at this again, because this can truly help you increase your business, regardless of what you're in. Now, I wanted to finish up with a goal setting session. And I actually have a whole program I do on goal setting that would be probably very good to do. But I wanted to talk about this and give you some highlights, because how does goal setting work? Well, for the most part, the way it works every year is January 1st rolls around. We set our goals. And, you know, as an example, I want to lose 30 pounds or whatever. So you set your goal on January 1st, pen to paper. You go to Planet Fitness or go to a gym, run on the treadmill for a couple of weeks, and then you quit. This is why they say Planet Fitness or any gym is always the busiest at the early part of the year. And then by, you know, the middle of January or February, it's a ghost town because everybody's quit already. That's the way that most goal setting works. This is a much better way to do it. And we're in the 2nd week of November, so the timing on this is very good. This is the way that I like to do it. It works very effective. So November, the 1st and 2nd week of November, you want to ask yourself these questions about the year, the previous, or the year that you've just gone through, you know, January through October. What went well? What did you do that, you know, seemed to really work good for you or your business? What went poorly? You know, what was frustrating? What didn't work well? And if it was unsuccessful, do you want to continue with that goal, or do you want to get rid of it? So in other words, let me give you an example of that. So let's say that your goal was to, you wanted to lose 30 pounds. And let's say that at the end of the year, you had actually lost about 15 pounds, but not all that you wanted. You may decide that this is a situation where you want to continue with this goal, but maybe make some adjustments. You know, maybe rather than exercise, you know, 2 days a week, we're going to exercise 3 or 4 days a week so we can get closer to that goal. But let's say that you get to the end of the year, and let's say you've actually gained 15 pounds or gained 5 pounds. Maybe you want to think about, do I really, in my mind, have what it takes to be able to do this? Or do I want to get away from the goals of this and start talking about maybe a way of life? And that way of life might be eating more fruits and vegetables, exercising more, eating slower, that type of thing. So do you want to get rid of the goal, or do you want to sort of amend it some? And then the next bullet point there is a yearly wish list. This is where you really want to, as we call it, bucket list, or really want to sit there and think about what are some things that you could do that you would like to do. Don't try to worry too much about whether you think you could actually make it or not, but you want to talk about the things that you might be interested in somewhat. So you get all that done the 1st and 2nd week. 3rd and 4th week of November, you really want to get a little more, narrow that down, funnel that down a little bit, and ask the question, do you really want this? Or let me give an example. Let's say that at my age right now, let's say my goal or bucket list was to play in the NFL. Well, let's see, I'm too small, I'm too old, I'm too slow. You know, what are the chances of me being signed by an NFL team? Next to none, right? Or none. But perhaps I could be an official, right? Game official. So there's ways I can be involved without actually playing. So this is where you actually kind of narrow this down. A lot of Google research here. You want to make sure that you figure out if you had a goal to, let's say, I want to learn how to play golf. Well, that's going to require me to buy some golf clubs. It's going to require me to spend 5 or more hours a week playing or practicing. Is this something that I'm willing to do? If the answer is no, maybe that's not the goal you want to do. So that's the 3rd and 4th week of November. 1st and 2nd week of December is specific action steps. So I've decided that I want to learn to play golf. Step number 1, get golf clubs. Step number 2, go and practice 3 days a week. So these are specific action steps that I'm doing. And then the rest of the month of December, you want to tweak those action steps and you want to fill out your 100-day goals. Now, 100-day goals are the way I like to do the rest of my year from January through October. And I break that up into 3 100-day sets. So you've got January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. And you go through the whole year like that with 100 days. And when you do that, 100 days, that's 300 days a week or 300 days a year. And that takes you through almost, the end of the year. And you go through your 100-day goals and you fill that out. And I can help you with that if you'd like, but you go through the 100-day goals. And then when the 100 days is over, you ask yourself the question, okay, do I need to slightly change my course? If my goal was to lose 30 pounds, do I need to, and I'm losing weight, but I'm not losing it fast enough. Do I need to adjust this or adjust that? And then the next 100 days, you make those corrections, you keep moving. And then when November rolls around, you go to this same, rinse and repeat. You go back up here to November and do the same thing. And then by January the 1st, you're hitting the ground running. And then from January to October, you're going through your 100-day goal. So, Heather, I don't know if you would be interested. Maybe we could do a whole session. There's a lot more to this than what I'm doing, but we could do more of this maybe at the beginning of the year for the chamber. We could maybe perhaps do a whole class on this, and it's pretty interesting, a lot to it, because everybody wants to do their goal setting at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we can certainly look into that for sure.
Yeah. So now, so that is the end of that. And I would ask the question, is there anybody who does not need more money in their business? Is there anybody that has all the money that they need? And chances are, if you're watching this or listening to it, you probably could use more money in your business. One of the things that I do for chamber members, it's called 30K in 90 minutes. And what this is basically is a profit acceleration software business assessment. There is no charge for this. Normally I charge. I don't charge for this. I will not sell you anything with this. But this is a way for you to figure out, it's almost like having a boat with holes in it, and you're starting to sink very slowly, and you're trying to figure out why your boat is sinking. And so what we do in this assessment is we plug those holes up and figure out where we can put more money directly in your business. And not only will we find this money, we did it last week with someone, and we found, I think, $85,000. We also show you a roadmap and how to get there as well. So we do both of those things. We don't sell you anything. We don't try to, it's all real stuff. But this is a deal. I still practice and I still have clients that I work with. And so that is time consuming. So if this is something that you would like to do, I would recommend highly that you go to this time trade, the bottom one that's underlined. That is my time trade. If you'll go to that, take a picture of this so you can have it. It'll take about 45 minutes for us to do it. And we will go through and we will definitely find you between 30,000 and 100,000 in your business and show you a roadmap to do it, show you how to get there. When you go to this time trade link, it'll give you 3 or 4 options that I have available for the week. If for some reason that time trade is not working for you, then I've got my email address on top of that. You can email me there and say I'm struggling with the time trade, and we can talk individually, but that time trade will get you scheduled right away to do that assessment. That's something you want to take advantage of for sure. So with that, the rest of the time is yours. We got about maybe 10 minutes here. If there's any questions about anything, Heather, I'll let you take it from here.
Sure. Thank you again, Dr. Bradham. Learned so much again. Every week I add a little bit more to my notes. So I hope everyone else is being able to do the same thing. And like we've done with the first 2, or we'll be doing with the first 2, we'll be getting those up on YouTube here shortly and getting those links out to everyone who's participated in either part 1, part 2, or part 3. And we'll make those available to them so that they can take advantage of those. But Tammy, did you have any questions since you have Dr. Bradham all to yourself today?
Not that I can think of. I guess, like I said, I called you. I think I'm going to have to go back and watch it because it was clicking in and out.
Yeah.
Popping in and out. And I don't know if that's my internet or what.
Yeah. I was trying to keep off every other device during the whole thing, hoping that my internet didn't go out at home too. And so far, so good. So.
We've actually not, we're still not open. We've actually been closed since March 15th. So I'm not open yet even.
Yeah.
I've actually taken this opportunity. I'm putting in new carpet this week.
Yeah. Tammy, one of the things, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I think this is where you were going with that anyway. So you really, and this is common in a lot of businesses today, especially in restaurants and places like that, bars, whatever. One thing you really want to do, and it sounds like you're doing this with the carpeting, but you want to make sure that you're getting yourself ready so that when you do open, you're ready to go. The mistake that a lot of people make is they'll say, well, you know, I can't do anything now, so I'll just sit back and wait. You want to have yourself on go so that all these things are ready to go. And the other thing, Tammy, not to get metaphysical here, but you need to make sure your headspace is right, okay? And because this is tough on everybody right now, you want to make sure that you try to stay as positive as you can. Focus on the things that you're able to change, the things that you can't, work through them. But it sounds like with the carpeting and stuff you're doing, but this is the deal. You're going to have to make sure that you're really, when you do open, that you're ready to go and that your advertising is good and effective. Otherwise, you're going to waste a lot of money with a lot of different mediums on this. You got to make every penny count. You got to make sure what you're spending your money on is effective and that you're doing everything you can to make the most out of every dollar that you spend. And understand this too, Tammy, people, there's a lot going on right now. COVID, as I mentioned earlier, this is not a political show, but regardless of, you know, the election, a lot of, you know, things there, and whether you liked it or didn't like it, the bottom line is we're very divided as a country right now. That's a fact. So why is that important to this? It's important to this because people tend to hunker down at times like this, okay? They're scared, they don't know what to do, you know, we'll just sort of stay at home tonight. And that's the last thing you want to hear in your business. So you got to make sure you do what you can to avoid that. And that good marketing program is extremely effective. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Didn't mean to cut you off. I'll go ahead and let you finish your point.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's what I was doing. I had actually, before the COVID, I had taken out, had refinanced. So I had, and I wasn't going to use the money. I thought, well, I'll sit on it. But then I said, you know, I'm just going to do the updates I was going to do and hold, you know, hold firm to it since I had time to do them.
Yeah.
But you're right. I know I've got to get my marketing in, and that's why everybody's pressuring me for a date that I'm going to be open. But I'm like, I kind of want to see where things go, and I could have told them about the divide a year ago.
Yeah.
My business used to be the divide a lot.
Yeah. So, and Tammy, I just throw this at you as well. The other thing about this, and you see this a lot in the restaurant business, people anticipate, you know, the opening of a new restaurant. Oh, we're all excited. I can't wait to go. And they get there, they don't have enough help. It's slow. It's this, that. We lost a restaurant a few months ago in Dunn that I thought was pretty good, especially when it opened. But the service was just awful. And, you know, I would go there. It didn't look good outside, and it was sad. And I wish at that time I would have been able to help that business, but they didn't want my help or didn't ask for my help. And that's unfortunate because a few little things might have made the difference of winning and losing. And the profit margins in the restaurant business are so small anyway. But how this pertains to you, Tammy, is you want to make sure that when you do open, you have systems in place that are going to work. Because unfortunately, you only get one chance with some people. And the flip side of that, I don't want to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but people hunker down. But on the other side of that, people are also going to say things like this. I'm ready to get back to a sense of normalcy. I want my kid to be able to do things they did a couple of years ago. And with your business, that presents that opportunity. But if they get there and your systems are not in place, or they're not where they need to be, you might lose them. And they might say, hey, we're going to go to Holly Springs. We're going to go to Fuquay. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, Tammy, you're going to compete with Holly Springs and Fuquay. All right. And you've got to want people to want to spend their money in Dunn right here. And there's things that you can do to be able to foster that, but you just got to have your systems in place.
Right. Right. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to upgrade the POS systems also and stuff. And yeah, I've already told the kids they got to go through new training.
Gotcha. Tammy, I would recommend go to the time trade.
I got told recently by one of the employees, he's 26, 27 now. He started working for me when he was 15.
Yeah.
And he told me that I was too nice on my kids today and I needed to channel the person that trained him. So,
And hopefully some of that personality stuff that we did will help a little bit, because that's actually pretty powerful. I don't care what business you're in, that can really, or relationships, whatever. That's big news. Go to the time trade, Tammy, sign up for that, or go to my website and we can go through, break down your business piece by piece. Won't charge you a dime to do that and show you some good stuff. You got some time on your hands, so now might be the time to do that.
well, I don't have time on my hands because I am doing a lot of stuff, because I did get an email from you and I'm like, I've got to do this time trade thing, but I'm trying with researching all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually very time consuming trying to
Sure.
It's been the worst. It's been trying to find a better credit card system and
Yeah.
POS system that everybody can work with.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get it. Well, this will be 45 minutes well worth your time. Trust me. Anything else, Tammy?
That's it.
Okay. Heather, anything else?
No, I would just say, Tammy, if you haven't already, maybe chronicle your upgrades to the the skate area, kind of as an advertisement, a precursor to what to expect when you reopen. People love those time-lapse videos and things like that, if that's something that you can still do.
We've done quite a bit on the Snapchat.
Oh, good.
We have a lot of followers, especially the kids follow us a lot on Snapchat.
Good.
So we'll post little things, like I'll post a close-up of the carpet, or like our bathroom. Used to be able to just go in and lock the bathroom doors. That's not that way anymore. They have actual bathroom stalls. So, and a lot of different things like that. And so we like snap things and go, where is this in the ring?
Oh, good.
Tammy, the other thing I would say is this, that's going in your favor as well. I don't know how to exactly, the political climate in our city, right now is very good and very advantageous to small business owners. Sometimes in the city, we have the political leadership is sort of stagnant and sort of, ho-hum. But we've opened a new dog park. I don't know if you saw that yesterday, ridden by it. It's beautiful.
I wanted to go to that yesterday, and I forgot to put it in my calendar, and then before I knew it was over with.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. The reason I bring that up is to say that there's several things that you're going to see in the next few months, or maybe a year or less, that really promote done, okay? And that you don't have to go to Holly Springs, you don't have to go to Fuquay to get everything you want. And so you fit right in that mold, okay? You're part of several other things that hopefully will get people to stay in done and do stuff. I know that's what Heather wants to hear as head of the chamber. She wants to hear that, but I think that's true. And we're kind of promoting that thing now. So hopefully that'll help you and give you some leverage and traction as you go forward. But you've got to figure out, what is your, I'm sorry?
The curb appeal right now is really bad, I know.
Well,
but if you will be patient with me, it will get better.
You've got to work on a lot of stuff. You got to work on your market dominating position. You got to work on, curb appeal is very important. Okay. You got to work on your plant, internal, external. You got to look at all that. You got to get your marketing. Are you following the IEEO method? Interrupt, educate, engage, and offer. Are you doing that in all your offering? Or are you simply saying stuff like, been here for 40 years? Nobody cares about that. You got to really have the advertising that's going to work. You got to make sure that you're charging what you're worth for your services. If you're not, you're going to have a problem. You're going to go broke doing that. You got to charge what you're worth. You got to make sure that you've got a good landing page, not just the website. You can spend a lot of money on a beautiful website that does absolutely nothing. You got to have a landing page, a good one. All right. You got to make sure that your website is hitting certain points. If they don't hit it, then you're not going to be successful with that either. You got to make sure that people feel safe when they go there. If they don't feel safe, they're not going to go. All right, just not going to go. So these are all the kind of things that you have to look at as you start to, you know, sort of rebrand your business with what you're doing. And so that's something you've got to really consider, all those factors.
Yep, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It sounds like you've got a good start, though. It sounds like you're really looking at the processes and what works and doesn't work. So that's a good start.
I mean, I've talked to an artist about painting a mural on the front of the building, but
that's something I've said for years. I was like, you guys need like a great mural on the outside of your building. I think that would draw a lot of attention.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to get, but she actually gave me the same price a guy that does 3Ds out of Arizona, and I'm like, she's too expensive.
Well, you need to make sure that you have somebody that will be brutally honest, and someone that's going to, you know, air the dirty laundry a little bit and go in and say, all right, Tammy, this has got to go. You know, as we say, the shag 1970s carpet in people's houses when they move into a new house. It may have been good in 1970, maybe on Brady Bunch, but it ain't what we need here. So you gotta have someone that can tell you those things and be honest with you. Okay.
Yeah, I do think the kids will be pleasantly surprised, because on the area, I know both of you probably been in here, on the area that was carpeted is actually going to have black light carpeting now.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah, so we've done quite a bit of, and the thing is it's been me and my husband's hands doing the work, most of it.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, good for you guys. Well, Tammy, if I can help anyway, let me know. You know, take advantage of that, because we'll go through and point out every facet of your business. Some areas you probably don't think about. We'll talk about that in the time trade. So just go to that, sign up for it while those slots are still available. With that, Heather, I guess we'll wrap it up. And we have, I guess, our next session coming up in a couple of weeks or something like that, maybe?
Yeah, the part 4 and our final part of the boot camp will be on November 25th at noon, and it'll be via Zoom again. So we'll put all that information out for anyone who's interested in participating. And if you have participated in the past or have an interest in reviewing these videos, just give me email me, call me, and we'd be happy to share that. And again, we'll have these up on YouTube soon. I'm working on those. As long as everything works out for me today, I should have the first 2 up at least by the end of the week. And we will certainly look forward to seeing everybody again on the 25th. But thank you, Tammy. I hope you have, it sounds like you're really heading down the right path. And I think maybe if you're able to take advantage of Dr. Bradham's time, that might be of service to you as well. And I just want to say thank you again to Dr. Bradham for being willing to help us with this and put on this boot camp. I think not only just in the times of COVID, but anytime there's a sudden shift in anything, political, physical, health, we all need to kind of reassess how things are going and what may be the best ways to move forward. So thank you for opening that conversation up as well. And thank you all for your time, and we look forward to seeing you all next time.
Thank you, Heather, Tammy. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.